All right, hello, Sooner Nation. We are a playoff football team. No more complaining and crying around about said the B word there. And I was just telling Goss about me not cussing in these anymore. I said the A word last time, and I almost had to change the explicit. But no, we're a playoff football team, and I'm just glad all the complaining, it literally set up for us the exact way we would want it to last night. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, we couldn't have complained about how everything went down yesterday. Pretty much chalk, except for, Duke beating Virginia. That was probably the only thing off chalk. And you can say, well, Indiana beating Ohio State, but one thing that we learned yesterday is that the conference title games were truly just something that could, in some ways, help you, but in the end did not. I mean, I was, and this is really, minutia here, but I was surprised that Georgia was not 2, that they left Ohio State at 2. And then, 2-3 doesn't really matter, but they just really said that just really did not matter as far as conference title games go.
And I really feel like watching Indiana Ohio State was a great game, but I think Georgia probably beats both those teams. I think right now Georgia's probably playing the best football.
I do too.
I mean, they're physical. They are what the SEC and what we have turned our defense into is just a physical, hard-nosed football team on the defensive side of the ball, and they hurt you. So
I just think that what Georgia is what we wish we were. In other words, like right now, they've got the punishing defense. They looked really, really aggressive defensively. And they had the offense that, watching some of the play action pass stuff that they got to run and just the truly complimentary football. It was just really funny of, Georgia blocks the punt, and that's kind of, what started the downhill thing. But it's like, yeah, special teams and defense. Who knew, right? Yeah, special teams and defense. Who knew? But to me, Georgia does look like the best team. And you can say we're SEC homers because we're in the SEC now. You're darn right we are. And that
just means more.
It just does. It means more. And that being said, I don't know. Maybe Ohio State and Indiana are better than Georgia. But the beauty of it is we're going to find out. And that's the nice part about the 12-team playoff is I do feel like we get a more true champion. And it does kind of do away with the, did Ohio State just have their, game what they had last year against Michigan where they kind of slept through, missed some field goals that they should have made and that sort of thing? Yeah, sure. And do I like our chances against Indiana for the reasons that I think our defense is as good as Ohio State's? And I think Sindel is a better kicker and he's going to make those 100%. But I also know that I don't think Jeremiah Smith's going to come and play for the Sooners during the playoff. Wish he would. He can come on down. But that being said, let's put the cart farther on down the road. Bama again, Jeremy. Here we are again.
Yeah, I mean, I think Georgia should send us a little gift for I think we gave Georgia the blueprint of how to beat Alabama. I mean, Alabama against Georgia in the SEC title game, I mean, no, I'm not. This isn't breaking news, but Kirby Smart can coach football. But they made adjustments from what happened earlier in the year where Alabama put pressure on Georgia. Georgia made some mistakes. It just seemed like Georgia said, "We're going to pin our ears back, come after Simpson." And Simpson, man, he's mediocre. He is a mediocre quarterback, and we kind of exposed some of it.
Yeah, Simpson yesterday was 19 to 39, 212 yards. One pick, one TD. I mean, and here's the thing, you can say about how good Georgia was at stopping the run, but if you take Ty Simpson out, okay, you take Ty Simpson, he had quote unquote 6 carries for negative 28 yards. And I realize some of those were sacks and that sort of thing. They only called 9 run plays. Okay. 7 run plays for their running backs. Okay. Yeah. That's what Alabama called. I mean, can you imagine if we were doing Tidecast today instead of Soonercast?
Yeah.
I mean, like, to me, and this is what I want as much toxicity and venom against Kalen DeBoer and that team from now until December 20th as can possibly happen. Let the hate flow, as the Emperor says in Star Wars. Let the hate flow, okay? We want as much negativity and as much crap flowing through that team and toxicity. I want it to be so bad that Ryan Williams puts his name in the portal before the season, before the game, and all those things can happen. That's what I want, because this Alabama team just has not been an offensive juggernaut. For Kalen DeBoer to be the offensive guy in SEC play, okay, they scored 7 points against Georgia last week. They scored 27 points against Auburn. They scored 21 against us. They scored 20 against LSU. They scored 29 against South Carolina. You know, we here at the Centercast have questioned and griped about our offense, not as much as a lot of people, but griped about our offense. Okay, that's their last 5 SEC games. Jeremy, how many of those games did they score 30 points in?
0.
0 is correct. Wow. Okay. And now against Tennessee, they scored 37. Against Missouri, they scored 27. Against Vandy, they scored 30. So more than 30 points, more than 30 once. 30 on the dot once and 37. But that an offensive juggernaut, that is not. It's just not.
And we'll have a lot of time to break down Alabama and that, but let's dig into the elephant in the room, Notre Dame not making the playoffs, which I said last podcast, I go, if you want to keep them out of a conference, don't let them in the playoffs. As long as you keep letting them in the playoffs, what is the reasoning to getting into a conference? And another thing, too, we were talking before we got on the pod, you know what's going to happen to Notre Dame? They're going to have to get in the conference because nobody is going to schedule them anymore. So there's only so much you can get out of playing James Madison. Nothing against James Madison. I know they're playoff bound, but James Madison, schools like that who are just looking to put teams on the schedule, because no team's going to play Notre Dame in a non-conference if you don't need to. Because right now, look at Texas. Texas is like, why do we schedule Ohio State? Ohio State's not the reason you're not in the playoffs. Florida's the reason you're not playing. Yeah. So, but they're going to pin it as, why did we go to Ohio State? Like, no, I promise you, if they were 10-2 right now, with that loss with Florida, is still going to be glaring, because you're going to take their. I mean, I guess they would have pinned us against them. Who knows? Who gives a crap? We're in. I don't give. What am I talking about, Texas? But that said,
we're the logarithm. Every time we talk about Texas, we get more followers and more likes and more comments. So Texas, Texas,
what can I say? I said last one. I said, hey, I do believe they're one of the 12 best teams. But that said, you know, they got left out. So it is what it is. But also, too, I did kind of want Notre Dame or Miami to come to Norman, just because we had Alabama come last year, and it's hard to beat a team twice, you know, all that crap. But the last 8 times that we've played a team that we beat, like we played them twice in a year, we won all 8 times. So take that for what it's worth. I don't know if that even means crap, but that's what I'm pinning it on right there. So,
well, I mean, okay, going back to Notre Dame a little bit, Jeremy, I did find it interesting. I think it was one of the On3 guys. I forget who it was, one of the national guys, I think, but got the memorandum of understanding, the MOU with Notre Dame and the playoff committee. Next year, if Notre Dame is ranked in the top 14, they're automatically in the playoff.
Yeah.
So this year they would have bumped. They would have went ahead and bumped Miami out per a contract. Now, what this is this thing's going to go to 14 or it's going to go to 16. Why not just go to 16? And, I mean, do you not think Indiana would not want a home playoff game? I mean, let's let Indiana play James Madison, okay?
Yeah.
I mean,
it is cool. Money is like you said.
Money's they're going to have a home game, okay? And like they want that. That's money, okay? Let Georgia host Tulane, or I guess in this case it'd be Ohio State, whatever. You know, play that out. I mean, there's really no – I mean, because like, what's the bad part that happens from that? Now Texas is in. Now Vanderbilt's in. I guess BYU would be in, you know, if you expanded it out. That's where they now. What would have been interesting is if this would have been a 14-team playoff. Notre Dame's in, and I think BYU is in Texas. And can you imagine the whining and griping if BYU gets in over Texas or Vanderbilt at that point? And and so no matter where you put it, you're going to have people complaining. But here's the deal: if it was an 8-team playoff and there were no like automatic qualifiers, then I would be fine with it. But if you're going to have these automatic qualifiers, you're going to include the group of 5. You've got to bust it to 16. That's just what makes the most sense. Because then right now, I mean, in some ways, and don't get me wrong, OU's in a great position of they get to host a playoff game. Okay. Mm-hmm. That's a lot of money for Norman. That's a lot of money for the football program. There's a lot of positivity that comes from that. That's just good for recruiting. It's all those things. And if you're I'm not feeling sorry for, like, say, Texas Tech or whatever, but Texas Tech is going to go from, they don't get to host a playoff game. Their first round playoff game is in Miami. That's really hard for a Texas Tech alum, fan, whatever, to go to one of those. But if you're an OU fan, I mean, shoot, I got to go sit in my seats for a playoff game. That's awesome. Now, if anyone wants to send Jeremy and I to the Rose Bowl, we'll be there. Okay. We can be in Pasadena, but that's a different animal. And hopefully we are there. But to me, this is going to push things to 16 quicker rather than later, because Notre Dame being out was shocking. But also at the same time, if you kicked Alabama out, there's no more conference title games. There's not, because then you're punishing them for losing a game that they didn't, that nobody else had to play.
Yeah.
And that would have been, quote unquote, wrong. And I understand the ramifications with that. And then if you pick Notre Dame over Miami and they're in, then you've said head to head doesn't matter. So in the end, you chose the path of least resistance as far as true kickback. You kicked them out, but you also told them, guys, look, it's 1 year you're out. Don't worry. It's going to be okay next year. You just got to be in the top 14 and you'll be in. It's okay. Now, I don't blame them for not going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl. I get that. But at the same time, it's kind of crappy. That's where it's at. And, but
I think bowls are
kind of dead.
We're going to start seeing this more and more. Iowa State's not playing. They've already declined. It's going to be, unfortunately, these, low major, these small schools that are playing in bowls just to make money. But going to the 16-team deal, I've said for a long time, it's nice to have a bye, but you can't tell me those 4 teams don't look at it and say, we're losing money because we could have a home playoff game. And also, too, you look at it, you reward these 2 rounds. If you're a top 4 team, then you're like, we could have 2 home playoff games. I mean, it just makes too much damn sense to not do it that way.
Well, and I mean, Jeremy, and I know last year was an outlier, and I think they fixed some of that. Of some of the better teams played in the first round, and some of the worst teams had byes. But last year, none of the teams that had byes won. They were 0 for 4 last year. Teams with byes. And I mean, there's a rhythm to playing. I think Indiana, now, I agree with Jeremy. I think Georgia has the eye test of the best team in football right now. But I thought Indiana looked like a good football team yesterday, like a well-coached, well-positioned, rhythmic football team. But a team that's built like that, that's not just built on dudes, dude, they're playing in the Rose Bowl. That's tough. You got to deal with the Rose Bowl parade. You got to deal with all the pomp and circumstance, the granddaddy of them all. You got to deal with all that stuff. And that's not something Indiana's dealt with a whole lot. And you're going to be playing a team, whether it's Oklahoma or Alabama, again, a team that's going to be more talented than you, a team that has played in these games. And even though Brent Venables and Kalen DeBoer haven't coached their respective teams in those games, Kalen DeBoer has coached in, national title games. Brent Venables has obviously coached in national title games. They've been through the pomp and circumstance of this a whole lot more than, say, Indiana did. Because Indiana last year, when they got to this round, lost. Notre Dame beat them. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at a similar thing again this year of, I do like the fact that we're playing Indiana in a Rose Bowl, because I think that pomp and circumstance could take that Indiana machine, which I think is a good machine. I think Indiana is a good football team. It's not taking anything against Kurt Signetti, and I think he's done a miraculous job turning that team around. But I think that's like a watch part, okay? And I think if one of those little gears is wrong, I think the timing could be off, and that could make that team not quite as good.
Well, and also, too, you get them and where they're behind, they make mistakes. Like in that situation in a big playoff game, it's like, oh, crap, here we go again. It's like you have to put that doubt in their heads. And that was a problem last night is they answered any mistake they made. They seemed to just withstand it because you know what? There's not a whole lot of pressure in that game. Like
both those teams are in, both of them are getting buys.
And also, too, they're going to get buys, like you said. And now I didn't think they'd go 1-2. I thought they would at least drop the loser to 3. But that said, it's you can tell like they played a lot looser. Like it was just like, well, we're in. Let's just have a close game. It's almost like they made an agreement. Let's play a really close game. Ohio State's like, we'll miss a kick at the. Well,
okay,
wait. Also, too, can you believe that the kicker missed that kick? And also, too, how thankful are you for Tate Sandell, who's probably won us maybe 2-3 games? I want to see what his price tag looks like next year because if we don't, I want all these receivers. I understand that, but like first things first, take care of Tate Sandell.
Take care of the man.
Yeah,
take care of the man.
The myth, the legend.
Get him
keep burritos away from him for Christ's sake. You better not be kicking any burritos. I know that much.
Get him like a Lululemon sponsorship or something where he can wear some shorts that ride up his butt and whatever it is and see what he can do there. But going back to that, Jeremy, I think you made some really good points. But like does Signetti, like the play that won them is a third down. They throw the bomb. Yesterday, kid makes that play. It's awesome. Like I said, there wasn't really, if you don't get it, whatever, no big deal. You're not supposed to. You're still playing next week anyway. Yeah. And maybe Signetti does let it all hang out and do that. Maybe they do. But also, it's just one of those things of I thought Ohio State for the first time all year, that's the first time they trailed in the second half. They hadn't faced that adversity. Yep. And so those kicks were a little bit different. I mean, for better or for worse, I mean, we've seen it, it's the old, like, I forget which farm, I guess farmers, but like we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. And I mean, we've been through it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so there's not going to be anything that happens on Friday night that we haven't seen before. There's not. And, and I do think that would be an advantage that we have later on, down the road, if we can get there. But, was the frustrating thing to me with this whole process is, and happily we're on the other side of it, but if you're really going to go and make this about finding the best teams, making this the most equitable way there is, Tulane and James Madison should not be in this. They just shouldn't. And that's no disrespect. I mean, it is disrespect to them, but they're playing a different sport, Jeremy. I mean, you really want to tell me that right now, obviously people are in the portal and there's been changes and all that, but you tell me Tulane would be favored right now against, we don't like them at all. And I know you talk about playoff games in the past and all that stuff, but you tell me that Tulane is favored against USC.
Yeah.
What was the Tulane, when Tulane played Ole Miss, it was 45-10. Okay. Mm-hmm. They got beat by Ole Miss worse than they beat Tulsa. Okay. And this is that's not a shot at Tulane. I mean, it's cool. I'm glad they had a good season, but this is a team that beat East Carolina by 7, beat Army by 7. Okay. Beat Memphis by 6. Okay. I mean, this is not, and I think Tulane is better than James Madison. These are just teams that should not be in a college football playoff. I mean, they just shouldn't. I mean, am I wrong, Jeremy? Am I being an elitist here? What do you? I mean,
I agree. I think that's even more reason to go to 16 because I think you always have to have those lower tier teams have the opportunity because I don't think you can take it away. I hate it. I absolutely hate that James Madison and Tulane are in this playoffs when you've got teams that are probably have a better chance of winning a national championship. And we hate them, we're OU, but Texas has a lot better chance of winning a national championship than Tulane and James Madison. If you're going to put somebody in there, look at Duke. To me, I look at it this way. Duke won a big game. I know there's no chance in heck they're getting in, but like reward them for winning the ACC in the crap conference that they're in. Like if you're going to put James Madison and Tulane in, put Duke in my opinion.
Here's the deal. Like if conferences matter, how is the ACC champion not in, but another member of the ACC is? Now, and I get it. They don't all play. I don't think, they even play. I understand that. But, I mean, my point being is this. When you put in these automatic qualifiers, no matter how you do it, you take away – it's either all automatic qualifiers or it's no automatic qualifiers. Because if you've got some automatic qualifiers and some at large, there's always going to be an inequity to it. There just is. Yeah. And I mean, and you say that, I mean, we're a team, if we're not Oklahoma, okay, yeah, we're probably not in. I get it. Our brand helps us be where we are. It does. But brand's not everything. Because anyone would say Notre Dame's a top 5 brand, and they got left out.
Yeah.
But I'm not feeling sorry for the Irish today either. I'm not.
Hey, how many times has the Irish been screwed on anything? I mean,
not very often.
And you know what? In all honesty, there's not a whole lot of times the University of Oklahoma has been screwed when it comes down to the playoffs. If you really want to dig into it,
I mean, if you want to say we've been screwed, Jeremy, we've been screwed in this. We've been lucky to make the playoffs quite a bit. When it was a 14 playoff, now when it's a 12-team playoff, we always play a blue blood. We always play somebody who's really good. We're playing Clemson. We're playing Georgia. We're playing LSU. We're playing Alabama. It'd be nice if we got to play a James Madison or a Tulane.
How do you do that? You know how you do that? You beat Ole Miss at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was telling my wife that earlier today. I said, oh, my God, they didn't let Notre Dame in. I go, well, they get every break in the world, so screw them. And I go, but you know what? There's been times more times than not that we've been kind of favored over it. I mean, I look at, 2003, we lose the Big 12 championship game in horrible fashion, get dominated by a lower tier Kansas State team that we should have dominated, and we go to the national championship game. So look at that now. Can you imagine if something like that happened? I mean, it's so crazy that we would be pin our ears back on defense and our offense be horrible, like damn near every good football team is. How many great football teams, the teams that you expect to win national championships, have horrible defenses? Zero. That's what I think's frustrated me so much is that we get talked about our offense and how horrible our offense is. But you know what? I watched Alabama's offense last night. And I'm like, I'm not saying that we're better offense than them.
Wait, they can't run the ball either.
No. And that's why I'm like.
And our quarterback runs better than their quarterback. Their receivers are better than ours.
Yeah. Well, what's bad is the problem is that our defense is too good almost. It's like we get punished because our defense is so dominant that it makes our offense look so bad. And it's like, well, their defense had to win games.
Well, I mean, did you see the meme and it's the guy, it's the secretary and, she's there and the ugly guy comes and says something and then the good looking guy says something and like the ugly guy says it and it's human resources. And then, the good looking guy says it and she's happy. And it's like Oklahoma won, 17-6. Ew, they're no offense. And then it was like, Indiana wins, 13-10 or, whatever it is. And like, oh, that's so great. And then I put Joe Klatt's face on that, so, I mean, I get it.
Was it our friends group last night that was talking about Joe Klatt saying that about?
Yes. Yeah.
No.
Hey, talking about Joe Klatt and last night, the wrecking ball graphic that they used for Signetti and for Ryan Day, was that the most weirdly
inappropriate?
Yeah. I mean, I don't even want to say, holy cannolis. This is a family podcast, but that was oddly sensual, for lack of a better term. I mean, it was just wow.
Why is he writing that like that?
Yeah.
It was just like this when he's running. He's just like, I was like, why is his face like that? Why did they make his face like that? What are they doing?
Who was the graphics guy who did that? Good idea.
I know, he's like, hey, look what I just put out there. You got to see this.
They're like, there's no way they'll show this. They're like, sin.
Clayton Johnson hadn't even seen it yet. It's going to be awesome.
No, exactly. I'm like, what in the world was that? That was just completely and totally wild. Oh, gosh. But now that we've talked about that, I guess there's really not much of a segue to anything else. Any other final thoughts just on the selection process and anything like that, Jeremy?
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you. Whenever Duke won last night, it pretty much went to how I thought it was going to. That said, my only question is, are they going to keep Alabama out of it? I mean, I think I sent something to our friend group. I'm like, does this butt whooping take Alabama out of it? But the more I thought about it, I'm like, you can't do that because people are going to be like, let's take conference championships out of it.
No, I mean, Miami should definitely send a thank you card to Duke because I think once that happened, it kind of put Miami in because they weren't going to shut the ACC out completely.
No. Hey, and they said, do you want to test the playoff system? Let Duke win it. And Duke's like, okay, hold my beer because here we go. Yeah. And you know what? Virginia played like a team that wasn't used to being in those situations. You could just tell, like, Morris, who's been there about as long as Jason.
I mean, Morris. I mean, I was explaining to Aaron and Allie last night, like who Chandler Morris was. We flipped over there at the very end after the Big Ten championship game, and they were like, "When was he at OU?" I was like, "Yeah, it was Jalen Hurts' backup, right?" Wasn't that?
No, I think it was Kyler Murray's backup.
But I mean, either way, that's how long. That's how long ago it was. It was definitely in the Big 12. It was not in. It was not in the SEC, and it was not DG.
He scored. No, I guess it was Jake because he scored that touchdown against TCU in the Big 12 championship game. It might have been Baker Mayfield. No, I don't think it was Baker. But
who cares? Can you
imagine if it was Baker?
A long time ago is our point. And so, yeah, without a doubt.
He's pulling Social Security right about now in college football. So
him and Diego Pavia are going to go play in NFL Europe. They've been around so long.
Hey, and also, too, Mendoza, dude's a weird cat, but, like, it'd be interesting what the Heisman is. I think dude's a hell of a quarterback.
I think he wins it, right? Do they give it to Jeremiah Love as a consolation of Notre Dame not making the playoff? Or do they
give it to somebody else because Mendoza's such a freak? I don't know. But when they did an interview with him, I'm like,
he stared into the camera. I was just like, holy cannolis.
He pulled some serial killer vibes on that. I was just like, quit staring. And even Lindsay goes last night, she said, why does he stare into the camera like that?
It was some odd youth minister vibes, without a doubt. And,
oh my God.
I love our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ with all my heart. I do. And all those things. But there was some oddity. There was some oddity to that. There was some serious odd things at Falls Creek going on right there. I'm going
to say something here, and I'm just going to preface this by saying my wife's Catholic and everything like that. But the guy's got a kind of a Catholic type look to it.
Yeah.
So I have nothing against Catholics. My wife's a Catholic, and I'm Southern Baptist. It is what it is. But that said, I was just like, okay, this might cost him the Heisman.
It was odd. It was,
but it'll be interesting. Hey, it's going to be interesting. Heisman. I think you got to look at him and the Vanderbilt kid. I mean, the Johnny Manziel. Yeah, he's. I mean,
and who all probably gets invited to New York? Pavia, Mendoza, Love. Do they invite Rodriguez from Texas Tech just to do the money?
Yeah, give him a free trip. I don't know.
For that thing to say we put a defensive.
Hey, mentioning Texas Tech. Me and Goss were talking about this before we got on. Texas Tech looked really good. And to me, Texas Tech looked like what we used to when we were in the Big 12. How many times did we reap the benefits of being in a lackluster conference?
Well, being in a conference where you've got better players. Us and Texas have better players than everybody else in the Big 12.
Yeah, Texas
Tech's got better players than everybody else in the Big 12.
They do. And they look better. They look really good. But what are you going to do when somebody hits them in the mouth? because that's what they're going to now.
We did not respond well in that situation, so we'll
and
see.
I don't think Texas Tech's got the makeup of it.
But I can see Texas Tech beating Oregon. I mean, I don't necessarily.
You want my honest opinion? I think Oregon's going to beat the absolute life out of them because
I don't
Oregon
know. I just
got some physicality.
I've been a Dan Lanning questioner for a pretty long time. Maybe it's just because
he does a lot of smack, but
we'll see.
Dan
Hopefully,
Lanning's
still in. We don't have to talk about it that much.
Yeah, Dan Lanning's got some Mendoza stuff to him as well.
Dan Lanning's got some. I just took a lot of. Mendoza's weirdness is differently. I think Dan Lanning could be hitting the same parties that the Pavias were hitting. I think there was some hard drugs that were probably used by Dan.
I know who told Pavia to act exactly like Manziel. I don't understand that part of it. They're like, his career ended up great. Let's follow that path.
Yes,
that's what I don't understand. I'm like, I am all about I named my kid after Baker Mayfield. So, Baker lost today. We can't have nice things too. The NFL and my NFL and college teams can't both win. I understand that. But I look at he's looking at Manziel and he's just as a role model. I go, I don't know if that's the best role model to have. Maybe Manziel now. Manziel's turned his life around. Okay, good.
Has he though?
No. No, he has not.
How many guys have really turned it around that you're going halfway across the country to, party with some dude's mom? I don't know. It's all.
I don't know. Have you seen his mom? I might go party with her too. I don't know. Who knows? It's like who is it? Luka's Doncic's mom. People are keep talking about him. I'm like, is that why he got drafted? And I watched him play. I'm like, oh no, he's still good. But boy, this went off. This went off the rails.
I guess let's finish this with something else that was crappy. I got cheap and changed my DirecTV subscription here about a month or so ago. I always do my thing where I'll call and I'll act like I'm going to leave so I can get them to drop down. And the person wasn't as nice as sometimes. So they did let me drop my price, but they took some of my stuff away. And one of the things they took away was a CBS Sports Network. So I wasn't able to watch the OU basketball bludgeoning at Arizona State. So, I know one of our loyal listeners told me in the comments last week not to worry about the OSU game at Paycom. I'm officially worried. That was a really
worried.
Yeah, that was a really craptacular
we shoot about 60 or 70% from 3-point line. We should be good. So
so I am worried about that. Jeremy and I will talk more Wednesday, some Alabama specific things. We'll talk about, just some other playoff thoughts that come trickling in. Do want to say as we go on here, no shocker that Gentry's not going to be there for the playoff game. I know Jeremy and I both heard that he had shoulder surgery here a couple of weeks ago. So I knew that was out. And hopefully R. Mason's back. I've got a pretty strong stance on where I think on that. But I'm not going to talk about that until Wednesday. So there you go.
Yeah, I hate it. Gentry's not there, but God love him. We're so used to playing without him now. It sucks for the kid. He is an NFL caliber cornerback. There is nothing. I cannot take anything away from him because when he plays, he is a difference maker. But is he a factor if Gentry's playing? That's kind of one thing I lean back on. And if you want to know what people think about Cortland Guillory, look at Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops literally went to the practice the other day, and the one guy he wanted to talk to was him, just because he is so impressed with how he's played this year. So I think that's pretty big praise if the legend at OU that's the one guy he wants to go talk to. So I don't think we're in trouble by any means. I just think we've unfortunately numb to Gentry Williams injuries now. R. Mason, I guess, like we were just saying, we've got some strong opinions on that. I think he's going to play, but we'll cross that road when we get there. But I also too, I feel like Brent's probably not going to release anything until he absolutely has to.
Oh, without a doubt. The only thing against that is let's not play coy. When we've played coy is when we've played bad.
Yeah.
You know, like, let's just shoot it up. I mean, and Brent even said this today, like, they can play, they'll play. If they can't, they can't. You know, and I think that's going to be Brent's answer going forward. But I wish if they were going to play, or if they're not, we would just come out and say, and truly, maybe there's some of it is we don't know. Like, you know, because to me, R. Mason with the quad, that does take time. I mean, any, you know, what do they call that? Soft tissue injury stuff, you know, does take time. Hopefully Michael is back, you know, and all that sort of stuff. But that's Wednesday's pod, and we'll get to that. Jeremy, tell what the people they need to do.
All right, keep subscribing. We're over 170. I think we're at 171 last time I looked. Keep subscribing to our YouTube. We're getting kind of cocky. We're just like, oh, we're at least going to get 100 views because of our followership. So,
today was not sponsored by Under Armour. I see Jeremy and I are both wearing Under Armour today. We were not sponsored
my wife
by Under Armour.
bought this at the outlet yesterday, so this is for her. So I'm sure she'll never see this because she doesn't watch it, but that's it. But yeah, follow us on Apple and Spotify, and God's you can find us on email.
Soonercast@gmail.com. We appreciate the likes. We appreciate the comments. We appreciate all the things that are going on out there. Sooner Nation, rejoice. We got a home playoff game Friday night in Nompton. We will be there. We will be excited, and we'll see you on Wednesday. Boomer
Sooner.